The story opens in a dim tavern where Rachel, a young woman, and Alfred, a young man, sit drinking. Both are weary and drained from the burdens of life. Alfred realizes he returned 2 days before the battle against the Demon King, despite being a knight in the hero's party. Meanwhile, Rachel's thoughts drift back 3 years. The Holy Sword had chosen the hero, and the Saintess was summoned from another world. Together with their companions, they had set out to defeat the Demon King. Rachel, at the time, was only a servant of the royal palace, watching the appointment ceremony from a distance. The world's fate rested in the hands of a small group of young people, and it felt unbearably cruel. She understood this feeling came from memories of a previous life as an ordinary girl in Japan. She remembered her simple life without special powers. She could only pray for their safety and watch them leave. After a long and grueling journey, the hero and companions defeated the Demon King and returned just 2 days ago in a magnificent victory parade. Rachel feels life never unfolds as she wishes. She notices Alfred signaling the bartender for another strong drink. Seeing him drink with such ease, she wonders silently if he truly can. When he stumbles slightly, she asks if he is all right. He apologizes, quietly wishing everything could be forgotten as quickly as possible. She assures him she understands. She too has memories she wants to forget. Sharing a drink even with a stranger forges an unexpected closeness. She hints that she is willing to listen if he needs someone. He smiles and thanks her. His calm demeanor draws her in. He asks the bartender to lightly dilute the drink. Rachel realizes this man is a knight of the hero's party and recalls that she had once admired him slightly. Alfred's thoughts drift to the past. The girl he liked had been involved with every member of the party, except him. Rachel hears him explain that the Saintess had relationships with the other members. She realizes that she was the only woman among them, yet still stirred feelings in Alfred, despite being involved with the others. He admits he always sensed something wrong in the party. When he understood the situation, he found himself outside the circle of lovers while everyone else had paired off. Rachel notices he struggles with the weight of those memories and reassures him not to dwell on them. He recalls the girl's kindness, the way she listened to his mundane stories with a warm smile. He sees that she had treated others the same way, yet it still affected him deeply. Memories make him emotional. He begins to cry quietly, recalling his feelings of love. She studies Alfred closely and notices his tall, strong, athletic frame. It surprises her how he remained outside the circle of affections despite his appearance. She also wonders why he never had a relationship with the Saintess. He tells her seriously that he had been invited but refused because a relationship before marriage would be wrong. He remained a virgin, planning to give himself to the woman who would become his wife. Rachel realizes his principles on purity are strict. Seeing him so composed, Rachel cannot tell at first, but she senses his commitment. He has kept himself apart, and the Saintess's influence over the others could not sway him. Gently, Rachel encourages him, offering a drink and telling him not to overthink. She reflects that honest and righteous people often do not receive what is rightfully theirs. She wonders if he had to yield to the whims of others and join the chaotic circle. In silence, she questions whether this fragile party could have truly defeated the Demon King. He falters, but she reassures him, showing that she values and understands the importance of maintaining chastity until marriage. She assures him it must happen at the proper time, and when it does, the woman who earns his love will be truly fortunate. Hearing this, Alfred feels she understands a truth the Saintess might never grasp. He apologizes for the delay and introduces himself, assuring her she may call him Al. She returns the introduction, and her name strikes him as beautiful. She wonders if he is naturally flirtatious, but senses a warmth around him, almost like flowers blooming. He asks why she drank alone in the tavern. She explains it was out of frustration. Surprised, he apologizes for taking away her quiet moment. Rachel finds his words unusual yet sincere. Alfred asks if he can listen to her. She shares how her former fiancé betrayed her, choosing her younger sister instead. She explains how her seemingly weak sister had taken everything from her, her parents' attention, family status, and even her fiancé. The worst part is that he is a grown man, 26, and her sister is still barely 16. She feels she should have shouted at him, telling him to be punished for taking advantage. She appears strong and dependable to Alfred, yet she refuses to see it herself. She insists she is neither strong nor attractive, believing the world will go on regardless. She puts on a show of strength but lacks the courage to express her true feelings. She recalls that even in her previous life, her fiancé left her. Reborn, she finds nothing has changed. She feels utterly alone and begins to cry. Alfred consoles her, promising to understand. He shows her she is beautiful and valued. His words feel innocent and sincere. Rachel smiles, feeling a strange reassurance. He tells her perhaps he is still innocent himself and assures her that if someone deceives her, it will not matter. Together they spend the night. When Rachel awakens the next morning, she finds Alfred beside her. Seeing him, she understands that he had planned to save his virginity for the woman he truly loves. Reality hits, and she struggles to comprehend what to do next. Rachel feels a pang of sensitivity thinking about her younger sister, Ariel Lefebvre. As a frail child who resembled their late mother, Ariel received endless love and attention. Rachel does not know who gave her the nickname, but everyone calls her the beautiful, enchanting girl. Rachel recalls rushing through her work, finishing every task quickly, eager to handle her own responsibilities. She remembers her fiancé telling her today that he wanted to discuss something important. She wonders if he is finally going to talk about their wedding. Arriving home, she asks the maid if her fiancé has come. The maid knows nothing. The house feels unusually quiet. Rachel wonders if Ariel is in her room. She decides to check on her sister. She knocks and hears noises inside. Opening the door, she is shocked to see her fiancé on the bed with Ariel. Rachel loses her composure. Ariel is stunned as well and timidly asks why she is here. Rachel tells Ariel to put on her clothes and come downstairs. She plans to call their father. Despair grips her as she realizes her sister may have taken her fiancé. She cannot believe it. Before their father, Ariel declares their love. Rachel's fiancé admits the fault lies with him for loving Ariel despite being engaged to Rachel. Their father apologizes to Rachel and reveals that Ariel will inherit the family instead of her. Rachel is stunned. Their father explains that he was always worried about fragile Ariel going outside, while Rachel was strong enough to handle anything. Rachel realizes that her father granted Ariel every wish because she resembled their late mother. Rachel had spent her life supporting the family. She cannot understand why she worked so hard and what purpose it served. Regret fills her. Eventually, her fiancé apologizes and ends their engagement. He explains that he can no longer hide his feelings and loves Ariel. He tells Rachel she can live independently. Confusion and heartbreak overwhelm her. Seeing no other way, Rachel decides to drink. Alcohol becomes her only refuge. She heads to a tavern to drown her sorrows. A few hours later, Rachel laughs and jokes with Alfred. She shares so much that he is astonished by how much she knows. Her laughter becomes infectious, and she seems full of life. Alfred notes the change from earlier tears to this joyful energy. Alfred feels he should have allowed himself to fall for her sooner. He shares the idea of traveling through the country, tasting rare drinks, and enjoying themselves. The bartender prepares a special cocktail for them tonight. Seeing Rachel so happy, Alfred cannot imagine her previous despair. She assures him that if a kind-hearted man like him cannot be happy, something is wrong with the world. He promises to make her happy and wants to be happy with her. He reminds her of all the neglect and pain she suffered from her family and fiancé. He wants to make it right. He declares his love and vows to cherish her for life. Rachel is astonished and struggles to believe it. Laughing, she tells him if he has no objections to being with someone no one else want, she will be completely fine. Overjoyed, he pays the bill and takes her home. They spend the night together. In the morning, Alfred realizes the joy of a morning that marks the end of his virginity. He greets her cheerfully. Rachel struggles to understand what happened, but regrets nothing. She resolves to avoid alcohol for a while and appreciates the day off. Alfred tries to lighten her mood. Rachel acknowledges she spent the night with him for the first time in this life. It is embarrassing, but she enjoyed the drinks and the time together. She reflects on her happiness and realizes that, even as a baron's daughter, she is noble. Suddenly, Alfred suggests submitting their marriage application together. Rachel is taken aback by his words. Rachel stares at Alfred seriously, her heart pounding. She asks if this is truly a marriage proposal. Alfred confirms it and gently adds that before anything, she should at least meet his family. Rachel's eyes widen as she takes in her surroundings, astonished by the grandeur around her. Alfred calmly reassures her that this is his home. The mansion dazzles with luxury and opulence. Rachel marvels at every detail. She asks about his family, and Alfred politely explains that his parents live in the province. Only he and the household staff reside here. Surprised, Rachel listens as he introduces himself properly. Alfred Charlier, Count of the Charlier family. Rachel's astonishment grows. It reveals that the Charlier family is among the wealthiest in the kingdom. They own fertile farmlands, an important trading port, and produce elite knights. Ranked high among all noble families, the Charlier name always tops the highest taxpayers list. Alfred adds that as a reward for defeating the Demon King, nobles were to be promoted by one rank. Rachel quickly realizes this means he is a Marquis, highlighting the enormous gap between her baronial family and his status. Crying, she asks why he was in the tavern because that place is for low-ranking nobles. Seeing her gaze, Alfred smiles and explains why he wanted to avoid meeting anyone he knew. Taking her hand, he kisses it gently, expressing how joyful he felt spending time with her. He makes her feel that he wants to stay by her side and take responsibility. He proposes marriage. Rachel shakes her head, refusing. She insists there is no need for him to take responsibility. Whatever happened last night was an accident and should be forgotten. Alfred is surprised, but she continues, her voice steady yet tinged with bitterness. She tells him she is of an age where she could be called a spinster. Her former fiancé betrayed her with Ariel, and her engagement was broken. Losing her virginity is no great matter now. Rachel's fear grows as she realizes the social gap between them. She tells Alfred to forget what happened, and not to think about her. Alfred listens but gently takes her hand, declaring he will marry the woman to whom he gave his virginity. His decision is unchangeable. Rachel feels a strange weight, as if something precious has been taken. She recalls him saying the same before and asks if the responsibility now rests on her. He confirms, explaining that this is what virginity entails. The scene shifts to Baron Lefebvre's mansion. Rachel arrives with Alfred. Memories of betrayal fill her mind. Her younger sister stole her fiancé and inheritance. She stormed out in anger, spent a night at a tavern with a hero, and now returns to seek her father's permission to marry Alfred. Alfred remains calm. Rachel notices his uniform as 2nd Division Commander of the Royal Knights. It suits him perfectly, reflecting confidence born from experience. She senses he is thinking deeply and wonders if he is concerned for her. Suddenly, noise erupts inside. Rachel cannot understand the commotion. She soon realizes it is preparations for Ariel's wedding. Shock and disbelief hit her as she takes in the scene. No one ever worried for her before. She had always stayed at the palace working quietly. Now she feels the family need not concern themselves with her. Rachel asks a maid to summon her father. Ariel approaches apologizing. Rachel observes how Ariel, frail in childhood, was pampered and cared for. As she grew healthier, she gradually took more from her without realizing it. Their father arrives and tells Rachel that what happened cannot be changed. She must stop sulking. He then looks at Alfred, who introduces himself with his full name. Rachel's father is stunned to hear Charlier, realizing his prestigious background. Alfred explains that he inherited the title after returning from the campaign against the Demon King and is now head of House Charlier. Ariel's eyes widened. Rachel notes Alfred's presence far surpasses that of her former fiancé. Her father asks why he has come. Holding Rachel's hand, Alfred calmly asks for her hand in marriage. He admits he has always admired her and, learning of her broken engagement, could not miss this chance. Rachel wonders if always truly means these past 10 hours. Ariel beams, and Rachel feels the sting of realization. This sister, once frail and cared for, will never forgive her or accept Alfred as anything other than hers. Ariel always received care and priority because of her resemblance to their late mother. Alfred thanks Rachel's former fiancé for ending the engagement, allowing him to be by her side. Emotion floods Rachel. Ariel moves toward Alfred, but Rachel reminds her of proper etiquette. She cannot yet call him by his name. Ariel protests, claiming it is unfair. Rachel silently judges how ignorance of etiquette can still lead someone to head a noble family. Alfred thanks to Ariel's recklessness and theft of her fiancé, he was able to act decisively. Ariel is stunned. Alfred reassures them both. He will take Rachel with him because she was never properly valued. She deserves better, and he sees no issue with claiming her as his own. Rachel's eyes widen, overwhelmed by shock and disbelief. The situation surprises Alfred deeply. Rachel's father explains that if Rachel is to marry, he must ensure everything is prepared properly for his daughter. Rachel realizes the contrast. Her family is a poor, barren household. Her father's calm tone masks a hidden motive. He wants to secure a large sum for wedding preparations. That's why he does not oppose the marriage. Observing the preparations, Rachel notes that Ariel's wedding promises to be extravagant and lavish. Rachel firmly tells her father there is no need for such opulence. She questions whether he really thinks they can afford it. She informs him she has decided to leave the house and, starting next month, will no longer send money. From now on, the household must rely on itself. She knows the household income depended on her salary as a cashier at the royal palace. Most of her earnings had gone to the family, and without it, the household cannot sustain itself. Rachel recalls how hard-working at the palace had been, yet she endured it for the family. The first time she handed over her salary, her family thanked her and apologized for the burden. But over time, gratitude disappeared, replaced by exploitation. She cannot pinpoint where it began: her sister's birth, her mother's death, or her decision to take on all responsibility for the household. The frustration weighs heavily on her. Her father reacts with surprise at her boldness, questioning if she can act so selfishly. Ariel shouts, claiming life has always favored her, and it is unfair. Rachel firmly reminds them who the real oppressor has been. She realizes this household can never make her happy. She resolves to reclaim her life, declaring she no longer needs them. Her heart aches even as she leaves. She had always considered them her beloved family, but she was never as valued in return. Alfred gently holds her hand. Surprised, she gives it to him. She begins packing her few belongings, noticing her only piece of jewelry is the necklace she wears, a keepsake from her mother. She reflects on all she sacrificed for this household, while Ariel received new dresses every season without hesitation. Suddenly, Ariel pleads with Alfred from the room, asking him to speak with her. He firmly refuses, showing no intention to entertain her. She presses him, questioning how his relationship with Rachel began, but he remains resolute. Rachel notes his sternness, realizing he has matured beyond the naive, easily influenced man she once knew. A trace of fear passes through her. She wonders if Alfred might have wavered had her stunning younger sister approached him. Instead, his gaze falls on her, calm and reassuring. He draws her close and tells her to return home with him. Tears fill Rachel's eyes, overwhelmed by the sense that she can no longer belong in her old home. She follows him happily. From behind, Ariel asks Alfred what he sees in Rachel, what she has that he desires. Rachel freezes, astonished, feeling the lingering sting of her sister's envy. Ariel lashes out, demanding to know what makes her older sister so special. Rachel freezes, startled by the accusation. Alfred gently holds her gaze and explains that Rachel has a pure heart, unlike Ariel, and apologizes, saying he cannot tolerate ill-tempered, rude behavior. He takes Rachel with him, leaving Ariel seething in anger. Rachel realizes she has never been treated with such care and respect before. In the cart, Alfred looks at her seriously and asks if she really lived in such a place. Sitting close, Rachel reflects on her past, wondering why she stayed so long. She recognizes that she had the chance to leave, to escape, yet she never did. She had convinced herself she had no choice and surrendered to reality, growing used to being taken advantage of. Now she understands she should have said no. Perhaps her life would have been different. Understanding her past, Alfred suggests they go to the church and vow their eternal love. Rachel is startled, but he reassures her that if they are to marry, it is better to act soon. He tells her she is the first woman in his life, and mentions a nearby church that performs instant weddings for runaway couples. Though she is excited, she assures him it is not possible immediately. She insists on careful consideration. Marriage changes a life and should not be rushed. Alfred smiles, recognizing her seriousness and thoughtfulness, and feels comforted by her wisdom. Rachel wonders about the recklessness of the hero's party and feels sympathy for them. Alfred respectfully tells her she may call him by his name and speak freely, just as she did when they first met. Rachel notices the warmth and expectation in his expression and finds it irresistible. He reminds her that, as a hero, she must report their marriage to the authorities. Rachel admires his organization and notes that he must meet her parents and address matters concerning his duties. Alfred allows a month for preparation, and together they settle on a 6-month engagement period. Rachel explains she cannot return to her family home and plans to buy a house. She asks if she can stay at his place until then, reasoning that it would be improper for a noble lady to stay alone at an inn and might affect him as her fiancé. She promises to pay rent, cover her food, and stay in a small room. Alfred is impressed, seeing her as responsible and thoughtful, like the soul of an older sister. Moving closer, he tells her she has no objections allowed and that she will live in his house from now on. Rachel tries to respond, but he kisses her, silencing her words. The scene shifts to the palace, where the Centess discusses Alfred's engagement with her companions. They have heard he has loved this woman for years. The Saintess is surprised none expected such boldness from him. Among them, Erica lost in thoughts, realizing that if matters continue like this, she must intervene. Rachel wakes beside Alfred the next morning. The room is unusually quiet, and when she opens her eyes, she sees his handsome face so close that her heart skips a beat. Today marks her third day in his house. She notices that without realizing it, her room has ended up next to his, and somehow they now share the same bed, only for sleeping. They are not married yet. She reflects on how this single week has upended her life, and she is still trying to process everything. But there is no time to dwell. Today is a workday. As Alfred wakes, he gently wishes her good morning. Embarrassed, she returns the greeting and hurriedly begins getting ready. Watching him, she cannot fathom how calm and composed he looks, even though just 3 days ago he seemed inexperienced. Alfred notices her flushed face and sees the color reach her ears. She reminds him he also needs to get ready or he will be late. After preparing, they descend together. Rachel realizes she is now living in a house of comfort. The mansion is elegant and luxurious, the food exquisite, and the servants friendly. They greet her politely, calling her "my lady," which feels premature. Rachel prepares to leave, telling Alfred she will not be late returning. He asks if she is walking. She mentions the palace is nearby. He insists on accompanying her, but she refuses. She finds him striking, yet wonders what the issue is. After all, they are engaged. Yet he does not stop there. He uses his summoned beast to contact his parents and gain their immediate approval for the engagement. Rachel explains that she only wants a little time to adjust to the changes. He assures her that sooner or later everyone will know, so it makes no difference. He tells her that today he will inform His Majesty. Watching him report matters so casually, she finds herself speechless. By the time they arrive, Rachel feels drained. Alfred shows no intention of hiding their relationship. She is not unhappy, but the public attention overwhelms her, and she resolves to focus solely on her work. Everyone around finds her charming today. Alfred has found her completely adorable since morning. Leon, the valiant hero, approaches and calls out to Alfred, noting he has not eaten lunch. He invites him to join. Alfred recalls that he had planned to have lunch with Rachel, but knows now is not the right time. Confused, he goes along. The scene shifts to the castle's grand dining hall. Leon apologizes for arriving late. The priest, saintess, and mage are already present and reassure him he is right on time. Seeing them together, Alfred reflects on how he had recently been part of this group. He struggles to understand whether Leon and the others feel anything about sharing a single woman, then realizes thinking about it is pointless. They begin their meal. During the conversation, Leon mentions he heard Alfred got engaged. Alfred realizes rumors spread fast, and escaping is now impossible for Rachel. He confirms he is engaged, praising Rachel as a wonderful girl, dear to his heart, and hopes for their blessings. The group congratulates him. Suddenly, Erica the Saintess interjects and asks Alfred where he met Rachel. The Saintess asks him where he met Rachel. He explains that they met at a tavern and believes it was fate. He realizes she wanted to keep all the hero's party members under her control and perhaps disapproved of his leaving. He reassures himself that he is already separated from them and has no connection with them. He considers how Rachel might react when he comes to pick her up, but reminds himself that he is her fiancé. The Saintess grows increasingly astonished at his words, while Leon, full of enthusiasm, continues asking questions, admiring his luck. The other companions listen intently. Rachel notices some commotion outside but convinces herself it is normal for the castle. Suddenly, Alfred opens the door and cheerfully tells her he has come to pick her up. He lets her know work is over and they should go together. Rachel assures him she has a little work left and suggests he go ahead, but those nearby signal that she has no pressing tasks and should leave. With her fiancé waiting, it is best to go with him. Rachel, astonished by the Supreme Commander's words, thanks him and prepares to leave. Alfred gently asks if she would accompany him on a date. She is surprised, and he adds that they can buy anything she needs for the house. Rachel insists the mansion already has everything she requires, but he explains that he has always dreamed of shopping with her. She cannot refuse and agrees to go with him. They head to the lower city, warmly welcomed by everyone. They enter a luxurious clothing store. Alfred instructs the shopkeeper to bring anything suitable for Rachel. As she tries on dresses, Alfred is reminded that she is his fiancée. Rachel stops him, saying the store is far too expensive and beyond her means. He admires her modesty but insists it is natural for him to provide. He assures her that from now on he will buy everything she wears. Rachel initially rejects the idea, insisting she can afford her own clothes. Alfred gently explains that he does this to make her shine and that buying her clothes is his way of showing affection. She struggles to understand why all this is happening. He reminds her that she will soon be a count's wife and providing for her status is only natural. She realizes that her accountant's salary could never cover such necessities. He tells her that he originally planned custom-designed clothes but suggests starting with the basics. Rachel reflects, realizing that she had always thought her essentials were sufficient. From his perspective, they are not enough, and he carefully observes her to determine what is appropriate for a noblewoman. They spend hours shopping. The shopkeeper thanks them warmly and looks forward to their next visit. Rachel cannot believe the shopping bill reaches 50,000 gold coins. Seeing the clothes she bought, she feels she has never worn anything so beautiful. Memories of Ariel receiving new dresses flood her mind, and she realizes she had always sacrificed her own desires for her family. Over time, she suppressed her needs so completely that she stopped expecting anything for herself. Now, someone is making her entirely happy without asking for anything in return. Guilt and warmth fill her heart simultaneously. Seeing the dress chosen by Alfred, she feels a deep joy. When she shows him, Alfred is speechless, calling her a goddess. She laughs it off as exaggeration, but he assures her he is sincere. She thanks him genuinely, and he happily says he is the lucky one to see her so beautiful. Rachel realizes no one has ever complimented her like this, not her father nor her former fiancé. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a letter arrives announcing a ceremony honoring the victors of the Demon King's defeat, hosted by His Majesty. Attendance is mandatory for all nobles in the capital. Slowly, people begin to notice Rachel. They are captivated by her beauty and sense that it may be the effect of love. Rachel realizes it has already been a month since she began living with Alfred. In that time, she has enjoyed a comfortable life balanced, delicious meals, the finest products, and no housework, as it would be improper for a future countess. She sleeps deeply now, free from the exhaustion of overtime work. Being cared for and allowing herself to rely on someone feels entirely new. She recognizes that this has never happened before, not even in her previous life. She does not yet know if this feeling is love, but she thinks of Alfred often. That night, Alfred comes to her. He tells her that a victory celebration for defeating the Demon King will soon be held, hosted by His Majesty. He asks for her consent to accompany him, and she agrees. He then shows her a magnificent dress, explaining that he wants her to wear it and walk beside him at the celebration. Rachel feels a stirring in her heart. She senses that walking beside him brings joy, and if he is happy, so is she. The dress mirrors the color of his eyes, though she does not yet realize this is no coincidence. It is his silent expression of desire to have her completely. They arrive at the grand ballroom for the victory celebration. Rachel notices that this is her first official public appearance beside Alfred. The Charlier family commands attention far beyond expectations. Seeing Leon, she recognizes the legendary hero. He greets her warmly, and she returns the greeting with joy. Leon explains that he has no family name, being a commoner, though Alfred mentions that he is to receive a count's title. Leon confirms but remarks that he does not know what he will do with it. The other companions approach, introducing themselves to Rachel with genuine pleasure. She sees them up close for the first time and notes that, as rumored, they are exceptionally handsome. She greets Charles and Valliere, aware of their connection to the Saintess. She wonders at their composure, sensing no jealousy or rivalry. Alfred tells Rachel they will greet His Majesty and asks her to wait. She agrees and promises to remain still. Before leaving, he gently kisses her, leaving everyone nearby shocked. Alone, Rachel keeps to the shadows, feeling safer. She sips the wine provided and finds it exquisite, befitting the royal palace. Ariel is also present, dressed modestly despite her love for luxury. Rachel realizes the family's finances must be strained after Ariel's wedding. Seeing Rachel so happy enrages Ariel, who shouts in jealousy before their father. He calms her, then greets Rachel warmly. Rachel senses that her father hopes for financial support from her. Overspending and debts from Ariel's lavish wedding have left the household struggling. Her father compliments her beauty, and Rachel explains the dress is a gift from Alfred. Despite the wealth surrounding her, her father reproaches her for never helping the family, claiming she ignored their letters. Ariel echoes this, blaming her entirely. Rachel feels a deep sting but remembers that her father always favored Ariel. She had accepted this reality long ago, relying on the memories of her previous life. She realizes Alfred must have intercepted the letters to protect her, reaffirming his kindness. Resolute, she tells them she has severed all ties. Her words leave everyone stunned. At that moment, the Saintess suddenly appears, rushing toward Rachel. Seeing her, Rachel is struck with surprise and disbelief. The moment Saintess appears, everyone is taken aback. Rachel notices her outfit, far more daring than anything she has seen, and feels a pang of surprise. She assumes she is the only one shocked, yet everyone else behaves as if it is completely normal. Rachel realizes that even a bold saint's attire is acceptable in this world. Her father bows respectfully and Saintess's gaze lands on Rachel. She politely requests a private conversation. Rachel senses the saint wishes to speak alone. Her father nods in agreement, knowing better than to refuse such a request from someone of Saintess's stature. Alone, Saintess introduces herself as Erica, explaining her role as the saint. Rachel is struck by her delicate, almost ethereal presence. She notes her beauty and innocence, and it occurs to her that Saintess is clearly summoned from another world. Saintess asks if she may call her by her name, and Rachel warmly agrees, sensing a friendly, older sibling-like aura around her. Then Saintess delivers a startling request that she asks her to break up with Alfred. Rachel, whispering, presses for a reason. Saintess explains that if Rachel remains with him, the entire world will be destroyed. Rachel's shock deepens. She had thought the defeat of the Demon King meant the world was safe. Saintess confirms but adds that other unseen reasons make this necessary. Rachel struggles to accept such a vague explanation, but Saintess admits her frustration, wishing the world were still only a game. Rachel, as she suspected, asks if she is Japanese. Saintess, surprised, asks how she knew. At that moment, Alfred rushes toward Rachel. He embraces her and asks if she is unharmed, worried that Saintess may have done something. Rachel reassures him that nothing happened. She gently scolds him for worrying and explains that Saintess had helped her while she was surrounded by her family. She apologizes for causing him concern, assures him she is perfectly fine, and thanks him for coming. Alfred nods in understanding and offers a polite apology to Erica. He thanks her for protecting Rachel. On their way home, Rachel cannot stop thinking about Saintess's words. She asks Alfred if it might be appropriate to invite Saintess to a tea party soon. Alfred reflects quietly, sensing there may be a connection between the two, but he resolves to trust her judgment and honor her wishes. A few days later, in the Charlier Palace garden, the Saintess arrives. Rachel thanks her for accepting the invitation. The Saintess wears a serious expression as she asks how she knew she was Japanese. Rachel smiles and gestures for her to sit at the dining table. Over tea, she inquires about her well-being. The Saintess shares her family name, which feels familiar to Rachel. She realizes it is one of the 3 most common names in Japan. Seeing this, the Saintess asks if Rachel, like her, came from Japan. Rachel shakes her head, assuring her that her eye and hair color make it clear she is not from there. She explains that she was born and raised in this world, but retains memories of a past life in Japan, where she lived and died. In other words, she was transported to another world and reincarnated here. She tells her that in her previous life her name was Sato, and she died at 27. The Saintess introduces herself as Suzuki Erica, 21 years old, and assures her she can call her simply by her name. Rachel had assumed she would be younger, but the age difference is not significant. She notes that a proper search might even reveal someone named Takahashi or Tanaka. Regretfully, Erica tells her she wishes Lady Sato to separate from Alfred. Rachel reassures her to call her by her current name, not her past one. Erica apologizes, explaining that she feels it inappropriate to call someone older by their first name. Rachel recognizes this as a very Japanese way of thinking, and it feels familiar. She agrees, saying that formalities would require Baron's daughter Lefebvre, but Rachel is enough. She speaks clearly. As far as Alfred is concerned, she will not leave him. She emphasizes that Erica should not try to draw this loyal man into her reverse harem. Erica finally accepts, admitting that she knows her actions are unreasonable, but even so, if things continue as they are, the entire world will be destroyed. Tears form in her eyes. Rachel studies her face and realizes she is completely serious. She asks if she has ever said this to anyone before and why she constantly talks about the world ending. Erica hints that even if she explained, Rachel might not believe her. Rachel reflects, asking if their mere presence here truly has meaning, and notes that none of this was ever reasonable. She reassures her that after everything she has endured, nothing could surprise her. Finally, Erica reveals the truth that this world is nothing more than a setting inside an adult-only erotic game. Rachel freezes, her expression twisting as she holds her head. In that moment, it strikes her fully after everything. It really had to be an erotic game. Rachel sits quietly, her mind racing as she tries to process the truth. Erica reassures her that, as unbelievable as it seems, everything she feared is real. Rachel feels a pang of regret, but steadies herself, taking a deep breath to calm down and start over. She asks her to explain in detail what is really happening. Erica patiently reveals that the world she inhabits is actually inside an 18-plus adult automate game. More precisely, The White Saint and the Confused Love, with the Black Dragon and the Chosen Heroes. Rachel listens intently as Erica continues. Rachel admits she has some prior knowledge. In her previous life, she worked in media, so she understands much about games. Erica is impressed and mentions her own fascination with that field. She feels a subtle sadness, realizing that wishing for her old life holds no meaning now, as returning to her original world is impossible. Rachel explains that saints have always been summoned to this world, yet none have ever returned to their own. All marry here and live out their lives in this world. Her mind reels at the implication and asks how she is certain this world mirrors the game. Erica recounts that it all began roughly 3 years ago. Erica recalls her older sister, a full-time employee, and Erica, a first-year university student. Reaching Alfred in the game had seemed simple, but was in reality extremely difficult. She remembers her sister's obsession with the game and how siblings sharing a room meant every action was visible. She remembers the secret boss, the Black Dragon, and how her sister struggled to defeat it. Bound by the condition that affection levels with all characters must exceed 80, she reflects on her own regrets. She wonders why she never played the game with her sister. Had she done so, saving this world would have been far easier. She laments that she now faces the fear of the future alone. Erica notes her sister's fascination with erotic games and thinks that a real boyfriend would have been better. Her mind jumps to the upcoming group dating party, realizing 3 months have passed since breaking up with her high school boyfriend. She feels it is time to find someone new and secretly hopes for a handsome, perhaps wealthy companion. Suddenly, a strange sensation hits. She finds herself in a grand hall in front of an elderly man and his companions. They explain that the summoning call has been answered. She is stunned but quickly introduced to Leon, Valier, Charles, and Alfred. Their appearances mirror the characters from her sister's game, perfectly hair, eye color, even outfits. Reality hits her. She has been transported into the game world. She watches in awe as the Archbishop blesses the summoning, acknowledging the saint as their savior. It clicks she has become the reverse harem heroine of the game. Every detail she had memorized from her sister's countless playthroughs surrounds her. She sees the affection meters clearly in her mind. It is undeniable. Rachel feels the weight of her role. This is no ordinary world. It is an adult-targeted Atom game, and to save it, she must raise the affection levels of all romanceable characters. She realizes the immense sacrifice the Saintess endured, giving herself entirely to protect the world. Erica wonders if she possesses some hidden charm or magical ability. Everyone seems to fall for her so easily, just a little kindness sending them head over heels. Bold actions raise affection to incredible levels, and she admits she had begun relying on this mechanic heavily. In the end, Rachel understands and realizes that she truly has a problem with the concept of chastity. Rachel begins to feel a growing anxiety. Erica explains that at first Alfred has the highest affection level, and winning his heart seems easy. She thinks that getting emotionally close to him will be simple, yet over time raising his affection becomes increasingly difficult. Rachel realizes why Alfred is kind to everyone. She reflects on how concerned he is for the girl who is suddenly summoned to another world. Erica explains that she relied on the affection of the other members and barely managed to defeat the Demon King. But then, the secret boss appeared. The hidden hand that created and manipulated the Demon King, the Black Dragon. Rachel listens in shock as Erica reveals that the Black Dragon can only be defeated if the affection levels with all the members are over 80%. In other words, a complete reverse harem must be formed. Rachel grips her head, overwhelmed by the revelation that the game world she's in requires precisely that. Erica further tells her that Alfred's affection level is currently below 10%, and she wonders how they have reached this point. It happened because her reverse harem was exposed. Erica reminds her of what her sister said, that Alfred was the hardest to win over. Rachel understands that while he seems easygoing, he is actually principled and values chastity, making it nearly impossible for him to be part of a reverse harem. Rachel realizes how difficult it is to hide anything from him. Erica notes that Alfred wasn't her favorite and that she never actually observed her sister trying to win him over. Rachel remembers that he is only 4th in rank, even as part of the quartet harem. Erica notes the reason his affection suddenly drops below 20%, especially at the moment in the royal palace when she speaks with her, plunging to a shocking 0%. Luckily, when Rachel explained things to Alfred directly, His affection rose from 0 to 5%. Rachel now sees the true meaning behind the affection meter. Erica warns that if things continue this way, they won't defeat the Black Dragon, and the world will fall into ruin. She thinks that if Alfred is still shocked from Rachel leaving him, she might have a chance to get closer. Rachel sees the sweetness in his face and admires the cleverness behind her plan, realizing she is a master in the art of romance. Rachel pauses, unsure what to do. Even if the plan seems reckless, if the goal is to save the world, maybe she should step aside. But she cannot bring herself to part from Alfred or cause him any pain. He is the only one who has spoiled her, embraced her with kindness and warmth. He is her one and only precious person. She realizes she has fallen in love with him. She doesn't know when her feelings grew so strong, but she cannot imagine loving anyone else. Erica pleads for the sake of the world that she breaks up with him, but Rachel refuses. Alfred steps forward, apologizing for worrying her, but explaining that he couldn't ignore his concern. He declares that he doesn't understand this so-called game. But even if the world were ending, he cannot love anyone but Rachel. Rachel knows he is the one who would never betray her. He explains that his heart decides whom he will love, and she feels the depth of his sincerity. Human emotions cannot be reduced to numbers, even if the fate of the world is at stake. Alfred reaches out, embraces her, and reassures her that the world does not matter, only she does. Rachel feels the truth in his words and sees the justice and unwavering seriousness in him. She is amazed that he chose her over the entire world. Overwhelmed, Erica collapses briefly to the ground, uncertain what to do. Then Rachel embraces her, telling her they will think through everything together. They will face it side by side. The scene shifts to Alfred's house as Rachel watches the morning unfold. She worries immediately and Alfred arrives quickly, reminding her that her body will get cold. She asks about Erica's well-being and he tells her that she had slept after exhaustion. She wonders if the world is facing another crisis. Rachel realizes that Alfred and his companions risked their lives to defeat the Demon King. The saint confirms that an even stronger enemy will appear, and with Alfred's strong sense of responsibility and justice, he cannot remain indifferent. She notes that Erica had been carrying a heavy burden alone for a long time. Alfred listens carefully but reassures her that meeting her brings no regret. He expresses his genuine feelings for her. Every part of her is lovable. Her seriousness, paired with her small clumsiness, the warmth and kindness in her, it all makes him love her more. When she doted on him, even though it's not natural for her, he felt indescribably happy. He holds her hand, expressing that a world without her would be meaningless. He never imagined anyone treating him as precious could bring such joy. Rachel feels the depth of his sincerity. She understands that she has never been truly loved, not even by her own family, and yet she devoted herself to this world. She feels joy that Alfred chose her. She can no longer stay away. Her love for him surpasses words, though she finds his chest impossibly captivating. She thinks that the concept of a reverse harem might not suit everyone. Some enjoy being surrounded by handsome men, but most prefer to love and be loved by just one person, just as she feels now. She recalls her marketing experience from a past life and realizes that a game cleared only through a reverse harem would not make commercial sense. There must be a path focused on a single person. There is still hope. She brings tea and snacks to Erica, asking after her well-being. Erica assures her she is fine and notes that Alfred's affection level has risen to 21%. Rachel notices the increase and realizes that his affection isn't romantic, but empathetic. The meter reflects all kinds of affection, not just romantic. His kind nature makes him sympathetic to her life story, and that is why his affection rose. Non-romantic feelings count too. Rachel understands now why anyone seeing Erica's sister play would easily misunderstand. To raise affection to its maximum, romantic feelings must be involved, since love is the highest form of affection. Erica marvels at her insight. Rachel explains that based on her past marketing experience, reverse harems are not as popular among women as people assume. Even love triangles are criticized as silly. A game requiring a reverse harem to complete is commercially unviable. Alfred may not understand every detail, but he grasps the general idea. Rachel assures Erica that a reverse harem is not required to clear the game. Tears form in Erica's eyes as Rachel realizes she is just a normal girl. Naturally, she would reject multiple lovers. Yet for the sake of the world, she forced herself to accept it, even though she didn't want it. Rachel reassures her that there is another way to defeat the Black Dragon. Finally, she gently asks Erica if she is in love at this moment. Erica gently changes the subject and decides to take a short break. Before long, Nina, Rachel's personal maid, arrives. She knows that Alfred and Rachel are still only engaged, and that Rachel is not yet officially the lady of the manor. Alfred introduces Rachel to Nina and calmly states that she is his wife and will begin living there from today. Rachel quickly corrects him and reminds him that they are only engaged. Alfred reassures her with quiet confidence and tells her that she will become his wife in the end. The servants witness Alfred holding Rachel's hand. They know he is a man who never wavers once he makes a decision. If he declares Rachel as his future wife, then it is already certain. They have heard that their meeting was an extraordinary twist of fate and believe it is thanks to the Charlier family's sharp instinct and intuition. Although Rachel is a woman, she once served as an accountant in the royal treasury and treated everyone with kindness. Since her arrival, the manor feels brighter than before. Alfred gently pats her head, leaving her unable to move. The servants feel the same emotion every time they witness moments like this. Just remembering it makes Nina smile. To her, it feels more heart-pounding than any romance novel. She brings tea and places it down at Rachel's request before quietly leaving. She senses that today will bring something interesting once again. Rachel apologizes to Erica and admits that everything earlier was overwhelming. Ever since hearing her story, she feels that Erica had a clear reason that pushed her to save the world. She speaks gently and explains that Erica must have chosen this path for someone's sake, even if it meant creating a reverse harem she never wanted. She reminds her that this world summoned her by force and that resentment would have been justified. Erica finally speaks the truth. She says she wanted to save the world because Leon said he wanted to save it. She wanted to help him because he is the hero. She admits that she loves Leon. To Rachel, Erica looks completely sincere and deeply in love. Alfred is surprised as he never realized this. Rachel immediately suggests focusing everything on Leon alone. Rachel then asks her if she ever directly told Leon or the other party members that she loved him. Erica admits that she never said it outright and only made them believe it. Rachel reacts with admiration and calls her a master of romance. She suggests giving the mage and the cleric friendship endings. Alfred points out that calling them only by their roles feels unfair. Rachel agrees and apologizes, then states that Sir Valier and Sir Charles will receive friendship endings. Erica feels conflicted. Choosing Leon means rejecting the other two. Even after everything they have been through together, she still holds them dearly in her heart. Rachel understands. They traveled a long and dangerous road together to defeat the Demon King, so every bond carries deep feelings. Still, she reminds her that reality cannot continue this way forever, and that she must be prepared to hurt others. Erica realizes that their affection toward her will drop. Seeing emotions reduced to numbers feels painful. Rachel agrees and says they should find the gentlest way to refuse them. She wants a method that causes the least damage and leaves no scars or bitterness. Rachel notes that Erica must feel like the worst villain right now. She admits that she cannot defend her on this point, since the reverse harem began with her. Erica asks what they should do next. Rachel gives an example of how to speak honestly and kindly. She explains that Erica could say she mistook friendship for love because they were always by her side. She says Erica should admit she has realized her true feelings and loves Leon. She adds that even without romance, they are still important and can remain friends. Raquel asks what she thinks of the idea. She feels it is like the ending of a complicated love drama, except this time it is a love square. Still, the result is the same. Erica finds the suggestion convincing. There are no tears and no shouting, but it feels sincere. Rachel then reminds Alfred that he already knows the truth. Valier and Charles understood it from the beginning. From the very start, it was impossible for everyone to end up happy together.
Here I am, know it's been a while. I was in denial about my love. Here I stand,